Bhumirapo nalo vayuho kam mano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yamme vinna prakrtirashtada upayorapi apareya priyam mam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho etam daryate jagat. This is from the 7th chapter of Gita, 7th chapter 4 and 5. If anyone wants to have a look, it is just saying that my lower prakriti or lower form consists of 8 things. That's the Lord is saying 8 things. That is the 5 elements of ether, air, fire, water, and the earth, plus mind, intellect, and ego, or the separateness in an individual, plus this is the 8 lower things. But what is my higher? Higher is the conscious principle, self-conscious principle in everyone is my higher principle. So this principle is what we are all searching for, which we have to stay put as that. That's what Bhagavan points out in the first verse of our Aksharamana Male. That is, he says there, Arunachalame ahame ninipada. I am Arunachala itself. That conscious principle is Arunachala. Then his ego is demolished. So can we be that one, that conscious principle and nothing more? The mind is already gone because this conscious principle is making the mind shine.
Thank you. Anyone has anything to say or ask? Yes.
I have been struggling with the feeling like I'm not productive enough, I'm not being creative enough, that type of thing. And we're in lockdown at the moment in Sydney, and it's very quiet. And so I'm aware of I think I'm aware of a lot of anxiety in the atmosphere where I'm living, and there's a side of me which feels that I could be doing more. And then if I stop and sit, I just stop and sit with that discomfort, then I realise the most important thing and the most useful thing I can do is to turn within, like you suggest in our Satsangs, and come to that quietest and stillest place I can over and over again. And I just get a little hint, just the tiniest little hint that that's really, really worthwhile. but then the other thinking comes in, and there is a struggle with that. So I just thought I'd put that to the group and see, and to you, Sanjay, to see if you had any comments around that, please.
Can I ask you, can you explain what do you mean by struggle? I can understand a thought is coming that you're not productive, you're not creative, sitting like this is useless, you're wasting time. All these are still thoughts coming from the mind because you are not using your mind. You are making your mind as a vestigial organ. It is like it will die off if you don't use it. So it's crying for help. But where is the struggle? Is the struggle in not obeying what the mind is saying, or the struggle is that these intrusive thoughts are disturbing you?
I think the intrusive thought is disturbing me. I found a way of being more peaceful with it is if I'm in the garden, because I love responding to the garden, responding to what's needed, whether it needs a water or a clip, or I can really feel a connection, and I can feel that it's being quite creative and quite, it's very simple but very real. And when I'm in the garden, I don't have those feelings. It's just sometimes when I'm just sitting around in the house and wondering whether I could be more alive, I suppose.
Elaine, the thing is that mind knows your weakness. He is your companion for very, very long time. He knows how to entice you. And it knows that you are a person who is a person of action. You want to do something. You want to be creative. Mind will say, come on, you're not taking me. You are creative. When you go into your garden, you feel you're doing something to the garden. You are creative in the garden, and that satisfies your mind. Understand the tricks of the mind. Understand that it wants you to be a doer, not a witness. And look, this resistance will come because you have trained yourself like that as a doer. And from this doer to be a non-doer, from the person who is doing an action to be just a witness to things. Look, the secret lies that things will still happen as they have to happen, but there is no doership, there is no doer, and there is no mind which will enforce you to do anything. To come to that state, your actions might be still the same as a witness, but the difference is you will never feel that you are doing anything. The doership will go away. And for the doership to go, don't take any command from the mind. And if the mind is asking you to do, leave it. Just observe as if it's just a mere noise. And if you stay witness for long, that is what the practice is all about. This noise will get feeble and feeble, and it will leave its grip on you, and you will be at arm's length from your mind. Arm's length, like what I'm trying to tell you is, right now it is very difficult for you to understand what I'm saying because you are in the mind game. And in the mind game, you are trying to sort out a doubt in the mind by creating another reinforcing by something else in the mind. And there the struggle comes. So the struggle is not between the self and the mind. The struggle is within the mind, between thoughts. So keep quiet and just watch. And don't get tempted by this pull of mind pulling you outwardly and asking you to do something. Actually, mind is turning to be your boss, and it is trying to pull you out to, you are not worth if you just keep sitting idle? What is the purpose, Do something, be productive. That's what the mind is always trying us to keep us busy. But when you know that it is just a thought and it's a preconceived idea because of the way you were behaving in the past, don't engage in it. Even seeing that the mind is creating an issue, though I don't want to do it, but it's asking me to do, is also giving importance to the mind. Just ignore mind. I'll give you a very good method. Treat your mind as a bad neighbor. Now, with a bad neighbor, you can't be friend, you can't be an enemy. You can only do one thing: ignore. Ignore mind at all cost, in all situations, at all times. Whatever it says or not says. And here comes Bhagavan's most beautiful and easy and simple technique. He says, look who is getting disturbed. All the techniques in this world are about mindfulness, watch your thoughts. Bloody, why should we watch our thoughts? Are we paranoid watching thoughts? So this is the thing. Bhagavan takes us to the crux. Look who is getting disturbed. And when you look here, the one who is watching but still with involvement, that is fake. For the one whom the thoughts are coming, thoughts are not coming for self. Thoughts are not coming for awareness. Parabrahman. The one who is uninvolved, thoughts are not for him. Thoughts are for this fake entity which thinks he is doing and he is suffering and he is acting and he is the doer. He has to plan, he has to do. Actually, this is the biggest sin, because everything is done by the Absolute, that Ishvara, and we think we are doing it. Isn't it sin when everything is being done by someone else? And someone takes the credit that he is doing? I'll tell you, I saw a nice funny video long time back in which a person had two dogs. So he was throwing a ball in the pond, and one dog was very fast. It used to go fast, used to pick up the ball in the pond, swimming, taking it to the corner. And this so-called smart dog used to pull from his mouth and run and go to the master, as to show that he has picked up. While the hard bit was done by that poor dog, who swam and then he just took it and just gave it. This is what we do all the time. We think we are doing it. This aham bhav, this ego, is the first sin. This is the only sin. That I have to do, I have to plan. If I don't plan, it will not happen. We don't give any credit to God. This is where the surrender comes.
So, really, sorry about trust. Trusting that God will take care.
Yeah, when we trust Him, because look, we always trusted. It is only since we have got this ego, we are not trusting. Otherwise, when we were born, we trust. There was a trust. That's why we were taken care by our parents, and whole life, whatever the moment you take your car, you go on the road, we never know we can return back home or not. Anything can happen on the road. You sit in an aeroplane, you trust the pilot. We don't know who's driving, what is his mindset. The whole life is about trust, isn't it?
Yes.
Talking of trust, the best example given so far I have heard is your mother on the first day calls and says, "This is your father." We all believe he is our father. So the trust, from that time it starts. Like that, the father in us is saying, "Please keep quiet." But I don't want to keep quiet. I don't want to trust that. So it's funny, when you think of that example, I'm flabbergasted every time. Say like, that puts an end to that whole kind of mind chattering. This is one way. And the other way is about Ramanaji. Somebody went and asked him, "Hey, what are you doing for World War II? It's happening. You're just keeping quiet in a corner." And The reply came like a shot. What am I not doing? I'm just keeping quiet so that more persons become quieter and quieter and quieter. The wave will spread like that, and the whole wave of tsunami will also calm down. What am I not doing? So that was his reply. I'm not doing anything. But that wave of calmness is spreading throughout the world. Like that, this is what the inner meaning. Everybody will quote that and they will leave it. So if I am quiet, the whole place becomes more quiet. So with that quietness, I am helping others to be quiet. So this is the indirect way of helping. So I am not the doer of anything. I am not even the helper of that silence. Yet that silence is going on. It's funny when you think like that. Then you remember the first example of my mother showing the father and believing it. How it happens without our knowing. Like that, I am also sitting quiet. Without my knowing, the whole piece spreads. So like that, you have to connect it. Then immediately your intellect gets it and it keeps quiet. It's only the intellect getting convinced, the mind getting convinced that I am doing the right thing. So try to convince I've given you 2 examples. Like that, there could be many examples. Many persons give you many examples. You have to come out with one example of your own. You are convinced fully and then it shuts up. Otherwise, the mind will go on chattering because that's our habit. The mind's habit is going on, there are 2 kinds of clash against this idea and that idea. No, I have to put an end to it, saying that this is the right thing. I believe in this. So these examples you use, whichever example is coming to you, and nail it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think, Elaine, the best approach is to give importance to only one thing: silence, inner silence. Whatever happens, no blame game, no guilt, no proud, nothing. And when you stay in the zone of, when you choose silence, actually silence chooses you. Silence is always there. It is eternal. It is before our mind. The mind came after it. But the problem is because this whole world is only run by the mind. It is the Maya, this illusion that, if I don't do it, and we are in this notion as a nation, as a country, as a society, that unless we do something, we are not productive, we are useless. This notion actually creates all this restlessness in us. But I'll tell you honestly, Bhagavan didn't do anything, but still did everything, isn't it? After 70 years of leaving that body, his teachings, and not 70 years, even if the word, I don't think it's going to last too long, but I'm just saying for an example, even after 7,000 years, his teachings will be of that importance as it was during his time. Very simple, very direct, and he's not adding any rituals, anything to it. It is such a pure, he has taken out everything, he has cleaned, he has given us the cream of the cream. It is the cream of all the teachings of any religion, any spirituality, that come back to the source, come back to the source, come back to the source. And source is always silent. So all this resistance is only inside the mind. Outside the mind, it is complete silence. I'll tell you, silence is more prevalent than the noise. Noise is only when you stay in the mind, it looks like noisy. The moment you transcend mind by just witnessing everything, not fighting with anything, when you opt for silence, you will notice that silence will opt you. All the time you will be in silence. No moment the silence will leave you. Even your life will become silent. Even people ringing you, calling you, engaging you, everything will disappear. This is the power of silence. Don't underestimate the power of your own inner silence. I'm not talking about the silence in the room. That can be helpful initially, but it is not of major, of any help. Nisargadatta Maharaj, if you see his recordings, there is tempo, truck going, he living in a small place in Bombay, lot of noise around. Noise doesn't, India, you go, every ashram, every place, there is always noise and, people, vendors, street vendors going, nothing matters, and you go Banaras, you go to Varanasi, it is so noisy. There are a lot of enlightened souls there, So this outer silence or outer noise has no meaning. And the same is, the moment this mind becomes your outer, just like outer noise, it's actually very outer than you. That is what I'm saying. It is arm's length from you. Mind is very far from us. But we have jumped into it and we sit inside it all the time. That's why we think we are mind, and then the thoughts are disturbing me. Thoughts cannot touch us unless you have interest in it, unless you trust them. So here there is a factor, whether you trust God within or whether you trust devil mind. Choice is yours. Whether you go with the devil or you go with the God. I have to say very strongly this way, just because otherwise people don't understand. They think, oh, the mind is good, the mind also gives me, laddu and this and that, and you still keep, mind is very tricky. Mind is getting the power from you and then making you fool. It's taking power from you only. You are the source. But because you have lived in this illusion for so long that you cannot understand. Can you believe in Bhagavan's presence? A lot of stupid people came and they even asked Bhagavan, you are sitting here naked, not doing anything. Look, this is first world war going, second world war going, famine going, this going, that going. Because every time there is always turmoil in this world. Every time there is an issue going, why don't you go and help? And I want to help and this and that. This is the mind which always moves, projects outward in this dream world to do something. That's what we have learned, that be productive, do something, help people, this, that. And what is help? Help, the only person who can help in this world is who has given up their individual entity. Otherwise, that help, what you do is you are just gaining more ego. You are not helping yourself. You are not even helping the world. It looks like you are helping the world.
You remember a few days or few weeks ago, Sanjay was mentioning about soldiers were there and they were afraid of the animals there. Whereas our Ramanaji has to come out and help them to go to the road because they were afraid of the animals. That means his quietude is making the environment quiet, the whole environment. So the soldiers are afraid of the animals like a tiger or something there. But Ramanaji walked out with them, helped them to cross the road. And so can you imagine his quietude is making the entire nature quiet. So that kind of quietude. It's the question of, again, one more point is, with which light do you see all these thoughts? Or the one thought is saying that I have to keep quiet. The other thought says that no, I have to go and work. Which light is, in those light only you're seeing that light itself is quietude. That's the natural quietude which is there. In that light only you are able to see all these thoughts. So let the mind go on fighting between itself. Which light is that enlivening those thoughts? It's not darkness. It is that light in which all thoughts are enlivened. So that is what is prompting. For example, a person is going in a rocket. He has left the stratosphere of the earth. That is the pull of the gravitational force of the earth. After that, there is no light there because there is no big object like the earth to reflect the light of the sun. The little rocket cannot reflect that kind of a light. So there is only darkness. Like that, when I'm sitting quiet, when I close my eyes, only darkness is there. Only when a thought comes, it is enlivened by that light. So only that principle is enlivening all those thoughts. So be that principle. Then all these thoughts vanishes.
Thoughts will disappear, Elaine, the moment the one who thinks these thoughts are for him or her disappears. First, you have to disappear. Then thoughts will disappear. So you have to disappear into that pure silence. So when you are not a doer, then how can someone can say you have to do something? It's your mind is saying that you need to do this and that. But if when there is no one in house, then thoughts are not for anyone. Thoughts are only for the one who has role of doership. You give away this role and just choose silence. And the best practice, I believe, is paying attention to the pure awareness, what we all are, rather than the mind. And this is the biggest difference which I can share with you. All the techniques of mindfulness is watching sensations, watching the mind, watching thoughts. That type of getting into that mode, the one who is watching, actually calms the mind but does not destroy the mind. The moment you ask, who is this who is watching? The watcher disappears. So all these gadgets serving the purpose to this one, whom they were serving the purpose, if that disappears, everything dissolves. So the thing is, the game dissolves. So here we are not looking for Shanti, we are looking for Param Shanti, eternal silence, eternal happiness. We are eternal peace. We are not looking for that just taming the mind. We are getting rid of the mind.
Very good point.
Yes, I think
You are think, but don't think.
I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm trying to find the right.
Don't worry about any
Find
words.
the right words. Yeah, it's like feeling. It's trust again. It's trusting in that. Just coming to the quietest, stillest place within, and going beyond thinking that's enough, just sitting in it.
Actually,
Just
you don't have to go
being
anywhere.
in it. Yeah, being in it that's all I have to do.
You don't even have to do. That's the thing. There is no doership. This is all mind creates.
Just be.
Yeah.
Mind just creates these thoughts that I have to do, I have to go, I have to be, I have to. You nothing. It's just being. So, can I suggest you one thing? Don't take help of your mind to reach anywhere. Just give away this company, leave this friendship, because everything what you have attained in your life, which you think you have attained or unable to attain, was because of mind only. Now this long friendship has to go away. And still the way, the language what he uses is the mind language only. That I have to do, I have to come, I have to be, I have to reach the place. Because this I have to is only the mind talk. Because you think it's the mind will take you there. Mind has no clue. You will reach there only when the mind is not there. So everything in this world you can get by help of your lovely friend called as mind, except knowing yourself. Because mind cannot show yourself. Mind can be here and you are here. Mind cannot, it can reflect you only. It can only have an aftertaste of your beingness. And that can dissolve, but you have to be what you are. So the mind should take your guidance rather than you taking from your guidance from your mind. So you don't have to. So the issue here is what Bhagavan has said so many times, that what we are doing is we are making thief as policemen. Mind, all this talk is coming from the mind, and you are still making the mind as the policeman to take you there. It will always take you somewhere else. It will take you outside only. And so the only instrument we have is silence. Silence is your other name. So choose silence rather than mind, rather than thoughts, rather than emotions, rather than planning, rather than doership. Never ever think that Without mind, what will happen to you? Nothing. Because who are you? Who is thinking like this? It's only the ego mode. In ego mode is dependent. A doer is dependent. A person is dependent. An individual form is dependent. But none of us, even for a fraction of a second, is a person. Has a name, has a form. It is a script written, and the things are happening, and they are happening in the most perfect way. Whether good or bad, but it is the perfect way in this circumstance for everyone. And the one absolute who has written the script will make sure that the script goes the way he wants. Then who am I to change that script? Who am I? My job is to just have Anand, bliss. Because so many reformers have come to this earth, isn't it? What is the situation now? Has it changed? Has it improved? So many, millions of reformers. Let it be, let it be. You just find your own peace within you. Rather than finding the peace in the illusion and blind guiding the blind. People are helping and we are helping, and they don't themselves know who they are. Best is you stay in your own peaceful, and when the mind comes and asks you to do something, just keep quiet. And soon you will realize that the mind was coming to you because he thinks you are the doer. You are an individual. That's the way you have trained your mind. But if you don't listen, you just stay in your silent peace. Intuitiveness is something, a quality innate of the self. Things just happens. They realize this truth. Only our desires and attachments pushes us to do something and plan things and desire those results. But keep quiet and see and be happy whatever comes or not comes. Thank you.
Want to tell a story of Vivekananda ji? He went to Kashmir and he saw the Kshir Bhavani temple completely dilapidated because of the Muslim invasion. So the thought came immediately, if I had been here, I would have saved the temple. Then suddenly he could hear a voice from outside, some Ashariri, hey, do you know better or I know better? Then God is talking. So I like it this way. Then he realized he's fakeness. Oh, what am I doing? Then he sat quiet completely there for few days, meditating and not doing anything. So suddenly, even say like these are all to prove to us, saying that the mind can play tricks. Even say like for Vivekananda it has happened. So this is a very nice story which is oft quoted because I want to save India. That kind of feeling here. And suddenly, then possibly Ramakrishna's voice and says, keep quiet. And he went into deep samadhi, and that's it. That's the way. I always like this story because whenever a thought comes like doing something, that story rings a bell to me. Yes, it goes away. This happened in when I was 27, 28. I want to do something, then this story again and again used to pop up. It's very funny story.
I don't understand it. Yes. I have some trouble understanding what you're saying. It's just the speed. It could speak very fast.
Yeah.
So I'm really struggling to understand that story.
Yeah.
So,
I can tell you because maybe the reception might be not that good from there. But what Nilakantan is saying is about the story of Vivekananda, that he was trying to save a temple he thought he could have saved. But then the voice came that just keep quiet. So this voice we should listen, which is not saying anything. It is a story, it is a anecdote which will help you. But the main thing is that what you want to choose. You want to, let's say if there is an argument, let's say two people argue. When that argument becomes a quarrel and hate, do you want to go that path, or you want to be quiet and let other one win the argument? What you want to do in life, if you are devotee of peace, you just keep quiet. So when a thought comes which is intrusive, negative, disturbing thought, your weapon should be not fighting it, not going against it, not controlling it, just be. And then what will happen? Be. What will happen? Be. And the thoughts are coming. And when you fight against thoughts producing another thought, that actually fuels the fire. The number of thoughts gets more, and then you're giving power to. That's why, if you can remember just simple thing, that thoughts are like bad neighbor. You can't be friend, you can't be enemy, just ignore. And practice that. It is a constant practice all the time, the moment you wake up till you go to bed. And I'm not joking. When your practice is very intense, sincere, even in your dreams, you will be a witness. You will be witnessing whatever is happening in dream rather than getting involved in the dream pleasures also. You will be a witness even there. Because you are not dream. You don't dream. It is only the mind which is dreaming. The mind which is awake, and then the mind goes to deep sleep. You are always awake. You are always aware. You are never sleeping. You have never slept. Sleep is only for the body. You are not the body. When you think you are the body, then you are doing all those things. When the moment you transcend the mind, the body will need sleep and all those things, and the mind will sleep. But who are you? You are none of these things. You are that pure awareness which is unchanging. And it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't do anything. Does this thought comes to you when you are in deep sleep that you have to do something? It only comes when the mind is active, isn't it? Then where is that thought at that moment? Now come on, don't sleep that much. Get up, do some work. Why you are having a deep sleep? Then what would you do? Then where is the doer? It's only when the mind is active that it creates all sorts of thoughts, doubts and things. So if you see, the best path is to trust that Absolute who has given this body, mind. And the beautiful thing is that whatever has to happen will be happening. Even when you don't want to do things, there will be some power within which will let you do those things.
Yeah.
Let's say you are in that awareness and you stay in stillness and you have no intention to do. But somehow that power will let you do things which someone needs help, someone has fallen on the road. It's not like, I am pure awareness, I'll not help this person. It doesn't happen that way. That intuitiveness will, spontaneously things will happen. But you don't have to plan to do it. Today I will do one good act. I will try to help. A lot of people do this. The other day I was at a place, one lady said, I have this principle of doing 2 good acts a day. The other one said, I do 3 good acts a day. They keep looking to do good acts. Can you believe? This is all stupidity. We read in books, someone has given a lecture. There are a lot of people, lifestyle coaches. They teach you how to be a good person, good husband, I don't know. And the thing is, their aim is different. Their aim is completely different than what your aim is. They are trying to be good person and you want to be no person. This is the difference. If from good person to no person is a different journey, there's a different set of rules. To be a good person, you have to follow all the law of karma theories and whatever it is. To be no person, you have to be no person. And no person...
I feel a sort of terror when you say that, about being no person, a lot comes up for me.
It will come. Yeah, it will come because
And I have to be honest, yeah, like that is like terrifying.
but what comes as terrifying? Tell me, what is it?
To that part, yeah. Sorry?
When you say terrifying, what do you mean by terrifying? Terrifying thoughts?
Yeah, terrifying, that annihilation of my imagined self. Like it has a grip. The thoughts, the being, not the being, but the person. Yeah, the personality. I mean, it is on one, I don't want to intellectualize it, but it just like the fear just sort of like rises up to have that like just disappearing into nothing. I must admit that. But I want to try. I want to go beyond that.
You have to go through that darkness. Yeah, true. Someone want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say something. I was just trying to say that it is only if we can reduce that fear by saying that it is only a thought that I'm having, that that I am going to disappear. It is only a thought. When you use that terminology, I feel I use that quite often because I get overwhelmed with work and there's so many things happening and I start saying, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do now. Then I just sit back and say, what is all this? They're only thoughts. And once I make that term very clear to myself that they are just thoughts, these emotions are only just thoughts rising in my mind, they kind of back away. So you acknowledge the fear that is coming, and then you just say that fear is only a thought of fear, and leave it at that. And once you make it like that, it becomes quite trivial rather than a fear which is engulfing you and taking you away with it. That's my experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Another way is I am the canvas in which the painting is being made. Painting by the mind is being made. I am the canvas. So I am the canvas is not affected by whatever painting it is made. Whether it is of a painting which is very bad or a painting is very good, doesn't matter because I am the canvas. Canvas doesn't bother about the painting on it. So you become the canvas itself. Yeah. So that's another way.
Right, thank you.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I am keen for my individuality to disappear. I feel the feelings I get, the thoughts we have. It's certainly not. It's not possible to have happiness for me, at least. Through. So in a sense, I welcome being able to have awareness, but be purely happy. So in a sense, it's something I look forward to. having that, being in a, having the grace to be aware, and then have the opportunity to let go of the individual personality, for me is something. For me, it's something I am, I am, and look forward to. That's just a thought. Still just a thought.
When you don't touch anything, outside, inside, coming from intellect, thoughts, feelings, emotions, whatever, fear, thoughts, when you have complete disinterest in everything, and this disinterest and interest in staying as awareness both works together. The more you go within, the more the dispassion, vairagya goes. They both are hand in hand. And you reach a place within from where there is a point of no return. Like, as I have said before, first you practice to fake it. And then it is because your natural state, you were practicing only because you were in an illusion. The moment you establish completely in yourself, practice drops away on its own. And when the practice dissolves, and this is a natural state, nobody can say, because the one who has to say has already dissolved. And as the fear to you is coming that I don't want to give away, this is the fear of the mind only, fear of the ego, which is completely false. What you are trying to hold is a ghost. You think that I am doing, this is my little family, this is my happiness, this is this, like we have created our own world, isn't it? But if I tell you that this is not your word is every human being, every creature, every plant, animal, everything is only your part. So I'm not taking away your small family, I'm giving you an infinite family. You're not losing anything, you're gaining everything. Take it from there. Have love for everyone. And that love, when you reach that pure awareness, that love is the only thing which you will understand there. How much love you are storing, and you are only distributing among few people. When you reach here, you will realize that this love you want to share with the whole world. If there are many universes, with all the universes, with all types of creatures, then you see beauty in the most ugly animal or creature. You are an infinite ocean of love. Why you want to restrict in such a small frame, who can only help few chosen people around him, whether they are family, friends, community, country, or whatever? It's useless. That type of love attachment for a small group is useless. See what the English fans have done after the soccer match, Do you think they are loving people? They thrash Italian fans. They They abuse their own players, look how much property they destroyed. What do you think this type of attachment is love? What do you mean by fan? What is this fan? It is the worst form of ego, isn't it? A fan. A fan can kill whom he is fan when he is not delivering what he wants. That's
Short
what.
form of fanatic. Short form of fanatic. It's fan.
This is what ego can do. When the ego wants something and it's not getting, it can kill others, isn't it? If he wants to love a person whom he can't, he can rape, isn't it? He can do so many bad things. This ego, whom we are trusting is as important, it is the most useless thing in us. And we are holding it tight because it gives us attachment, it's feeling of attachment, feeling of belongingness. But see, where you have feeling of belongingness, all the suffering comes from there only. It's not that someone living 1,000 miles away gives you suffering. It's only your family, friends, relatives. Where these enemies comes from the people you were loving, then they become enemies, What is this creation? Are you creating happiness or you are creating more animosity? Go deep within to find who you are. You will never come back to what you thought you were. You will never. Give me one example of one person who have realized the self and thought it is the worst discovery and I want to go back to my personhood and please God, get me my individuality. Have you seen any one example in the world? Because it is so ugly, Ego is so ugly. In any profession, hierarchy, that I am, people don't know, and then your boss and this and that, everything in life, you see, we don't treat anything with respect and love. We sometimes we do, but when it's our motive, when we are, we have something to gain from people, then we do flattery, we speak nicely. And when we think that person is of no importance to us, this is the mind which gives us that do this is in your benefit, this is not in your benefit. Finding benefit in this body mind. How long this body mind is going to stay? It is dying. Every day it is dying. So many people sleep at night, they don't wake up. We think we are eternal. Actually, this is the thing. We are actually eternal, but not the body mind is eternal. Rather than investing in this dust, invest in what you are. And we are all investing in this dust only. It is an image. It is finishing off. The moment it is born, it is going towards death only. People die young. People die as infant. People die at any time. People die in sleep. Why? Why we are investing in such a fake thing? Billions of people have born and died and they are dust only. And this is our time now to realize what we are. And if we don't realize, though the body will be dust, but our suffering will not end with the end of the body. Because we will take our all desires, attachments with us. And the suffering goes on and on. How will it end? It will end only the moment you realize that this is fake. But this is not intellectual understanding. It is not just a thought. It is not that you read in a book and the matter is sorted out. You have to sort out the matter here. From here you have to go here. So here what lives, you have to give away this friendship. And the friendship is very, very selfish friendship. Basically, it is not the mind which creates problem. We create problem for the mind. Our demands, We want this, we want this, we don't want this, I hate this, I strongly like this. Judgment, critical. This is all what the ego does. It spoils the mind. When mind came as an entity, it was purest of pure, still mind. And then came all the desires and attachments. And we created this mind as a filthy mind. It was our own desires which have created. And now we want to go back, and the mind is haunting us. And who has done this to mind? We have raped our mind, and now we are complaining. Don't complain. Sit with that mind, because this is our own creation. How can you complain against what you have created? It will haunt you, yes. We have put all the noise in it. Just sit with it, and I'll tell you honestly, the moment you keep giving more work to the mind in form of your desires and attachment, and you sit in your silence, how long the mind will keep saying, because it is just playing the old record. You don't give more feed to it. But whatever feed you have given, with that momentum, it is going on. And if it's haunting too bad, then devotion plays the role. Be the devotee of that absolute, whatever way you can be. Devotion plays a major role, because in devotion you surrender everything. You actually surrender that doer, that ego for which the mind is saying. When that ego dissolves in the complete surrender, then the mind stops, because it is only serving that ego. Surrender has a very big power, more power than anyone who is only a jnani, who is only doing inquiry, because then there can be spiritual ego, that I am a jnani, I am doing inquiry, I am so good, I can watch my mind. What is this? That can be a spiritual, that can be subtle ego, can be very difficult to dissolve. But for a humble devotee, he is always he's touching the feet of his master. He's always bowing down, For him it is so easy. For jnani it can be difficult. So take help in whatever way you can. These both things are so good, devotion to something, some higher power, and just say, look, I can't do it. I give up, you do it for me. And he will do it for you. If your surrender is complete, it will happen in seconds. And if you think you can do it, then don't touch anything. Just stay as awareness. And use both things together. Yes. Both together can do wonders. It's like putting two engines to reach your destination. It's faster. I'll tell you this path, what Bhagavan has said, to understand it, you don't have to read too much. Just practice it. Once you have faith in his words and you practice, it will finish so quickly that even you will be mesmerized. Even mind will have no time to think what has happened. It is so quick. But this has to come with full trust. Actually, this path needs something, a faith in things which has yet to come. Because in your mind, in that cocoon, it is hard for you to trust which you have not seen. But if you have surrendered, you have 100% faith in the master, and you jump, and you will find that you were jumping only, it was a shallow pond. You are not drowning anywhere. You are not going anywhere. Now you have got everything. I'll tell you, if you are a businessman, this is the best business you can do. Leaving small ego, you become infinite. Right now you are a beggar. You're begging for small things. Don't give me disease. My kids should respect me. I should get this. I should be able to pay my mortgage. What small tiny bits, you are that king who owns everything. infinite awareness. You are that infinite awareness. You are Ansh, part of that same Ishvara absolute. Just know it yourself. That's the thing, experiential knowing of your own self, that you are that pure absolute. You are not this body-mind complex, what we are looking for, small ego and attachments. The moment you reach, you will laugh on yourself. What? Who fooled whom? You fooled yourself. And who helped you to fool yourself? Your mind. And why mind fooled you? Because you were selfish. Why you were selfish? Because God sent you in the body-mind. You found so many things that enticed you, attracted you, and you wanted these things. And that's why you got into this illusion that I want this, I want this, I want this. Attachments. So this is our own creation. And if it is our own creation, then whom to complain? So the tapas is to stay as awareness when you have decided you are no more playing the game. You know, in this match of Italy and England, let's say you are not supporting any team. What will happen to you? Whoever wins or loses, who cares? You are not part and parcel of anything. Being a witness is the best state. You stay as a witness. And whatever is happening to the body, mind, or things around you, it does not affect you even this much. Because you have no sankalpa, you have not decided that this thing should happen or this will not happen. That absolutes decide for everyone. But we selfish creatures with ego, we think we are doing it. So when things goes wrong, we regret. And when things goes right, we take proud of it, our achievements. I'll tell you another thing. You can, if anything good happens, some people take this also as a method. Anything good happens, they give it credit to God. Anything bad happens, they take themselves. You know why? Because when you take all the bad things to yourself, you become more humble. And give all the achievements in your life to God. That it is His kripa, His grace. I'll tell you, you can use any method. These all talks, what I'm talking is, these are the methods. They are very, very, very strong methods. They are not, I'm not just talking just to talk, but I'm telling you the truth. You pick up any of these, even one single thing, it will take you there to the absolute. But you have to take something. You have to have a strong belief in that. And I'll tell you, to get that strong belief, read about the people who have reached there. There is not one person, there are thousands of them. How they reached, what they did. You know, we read autobiographies of people who has become billionaire and all those things. Read autobiographies or biographies of people who have reached there. How, what they did. What was the secret? What was the talisman? And something strikes your mind, you think this you can do it, then do it. But one thing I want to warn you, if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things, you will never reach even in millions of years. Pick up one thing and just stay focused. If you keep doing everything, you keep going from one place to other place to other place to other place, you will never reach. Not in this birth, millions of births. It's useless. It is like, lens. You focus the lens on sun rays and you can burn the leaves. We used to do as a kid. You have to focus. If you don't focus, you keep running. First focus here, then focus here. It's not. And every path is right path. The right path is what you can do. I ask patients to do exercise. And then my favorite is yoga. I said, do yoga. They say, oh, we can't do yoga. Then I said, do Tai Chi. They say, oh, I can't do Tai Chi. I said, Qigong. They said, no. I said, Pilates. I said, okay, do star jumps. No, we can't do. If you can't do anything, how will you get better? You have to pick up something. Exercise means exercise. Do something. Practice means practice. Do something. Get out of this. First thing is your longing. If your longing is intense, you will do it. But if you are still want to keep this entity and want to know, it will not happen. Bhagavan has said very clearly, till you think it is all real, because it's a snake and rope situation. What you think, you are not. If you keep thinking what you are, then how can you be you what you are not? You have to flip the coin, head and tail, snake and rope. Definitely, if we keep our petty desires to our heart, you will never reach. That is the way. And these are all petty desires, and they never end. Birth after birth after birth. So, stay in what you are. Believe in what you are. And whatever comes in front of you, negate. Don't touch. You should not touch anything because nothing belongs to you. Like, let's say you are staying as a guest at someone's house and you have asked that, look, I'll sit on this table and chair and I have to write something, can I use? And you sit and that person says, okay, I'll be back soon. And then you start taking away everything and touching everything, taking away, interested in putting some things in your pocket. Then this is wrong, isn't it? So that same pure awareness, your part, you have come in this body, mind, and now I want this, I want to grab this. There is a saying in Hindi, I can't remember the whole, but it says very simply, it tries to explain how to live in the world. It says something which just comes to you is like milk, which comes spontaneously in your lap. It's like milk. Something which you do with your own interest or liking, that is like water, like it's neutral. Something which you get with struggle is like blood. In Hindi they say, Rakt saman janiye mile jo khicha tani. So means which you have to grab and you have to do and then what is people think that is the fun. But this is, when you're creating all this ego and your thoughts and you're grabbing others' property or whatever, like in whatever way you do whatever, is useless. It is all creating restlessness in the mind, Anything what you can do which can bring peace to the mind is of the utmost importance, utmost value. Is the most precious thing, is the peace of the mind is the most precious thing. Where the mind completely dissolves. It is the most valuable thing. Not living in the dream is valuable. Waking up from the dream is valuable. This whole sansar, whole world is a big dream. Everyone is dreaming. And we are getting more dream by drinking alcohol, drinking with sensory pleasures and attachments and all. This is all increasing our illusion. If you want to get rid of the illusion, then just watch. Watch without any expert commentary for anything, just watch. Soon you will notice that you were never this body-mind complex. There is no one inside actually. Things are happening by an auto mode as they have to. There is no doer. Not in me, not in you. Even the one who believes he's a doer, he's not a doer. It is just a misconception. But you don't have to go out and tell to the world that you are not a doer. But just to know your own self is enough. Stay in your awareness and don't move from here. Whatever comes and goes. And keep reminding yourself. There's no need even to remind by a thought. By keeping quiet. just being a witness. And stay as a witness, not for 1 second or 1 minute or 1 hour, and then, because mind says, oh, I have done enough of sadhana, 1 hour I was just sitting like this. There's no need to sit like this or that, or spine erect, or there's no need. But inside you have to be awake, and fully awake, attentive. When you are fully awake and attentive, mind cannot touch you. No thought has power to come even close to you. It is only when your interest is there then the mind comes close to you. Because of long association, because of old habits. So stay there and don't worry about the mind. But don't give more fuel to the fire. Don't give more work to the mind. And work to the mind is having more desires, more attachments. As in Patanjali, he says strong likes and dislikes. Mild likes and dislikes are okay. But strong is like, I hate this person. I really love this person, Love is love. It's not just for this person or that person. That's all ego mode. But if you are sincere and that's what you want to achieve, it is very easy. It is very, very easy. It is the simplest of things. Bhagavan has given us everything prepared. We just have to swallow this tablet. Just keep quiet. If you see all Bhagavan's teachings comes in this word, keep quiet. That's all. Summa yeru. That's all. Nothing else. All then people start talking about Bhagavan has said this and Bhagavan did, and they do interpretations, and there are hundreds of Bhagavan Satsangs going on all over the world, and they pick up a book and they go through the book, and the message is so simple. They make it so intellectual. Looks like you have to be a real jnani to understand Bhagavan. No, Bhagavan is so simple, so easy. Without speaking, he says everything. It's not for any particular religion, any particular person. It is for everyone who wants to be free. You come with an open heart and everything he does for you. Because he is within you. He is in all of us. Stay in his silence all the time. Working, not working, sleeping, dreaming, waking. Change your company. Be in company of yourself rather than your mind. It is your choice whom you choose. Do you choose yourself or do you choose your mind? Which company you prefer? Mind will give you everything outside in the world, and yourself will give you eternal happiness. But it is your choice. So here the choice lies, yes. Whatever happens in our life is, as Bhagavan says, is already a written script. But this choice is in our hand. That is the free will we all have. And it is not something you have to practice. If you understand, just an understanding can do this job. And once you have understood, and then you might slip back, but then you can come back to that awareness. It's like your interior system in which you can be free from this mesh of mind by not touching anything. If you try to tease apart and do things and intellectualize it, you will get more, trapped in it. So nothing else to be done. And when the mind disturbs you badly, then you can cry, you can pray to Bhagavan, you can pray to the Absolute that please get me out of it. I have no clue how to do it. And if you have no clue, He will do it for you. If your prayer is humble, sincere prayer, He will do it for you. So in every sense it can be done, like whatever way you think is right is the best possible way. But my humble request is, take it seriously, take one path, practice that thing and be free ASAP. Take it as the priority number one. And then if time is left in this body mind, then do other things. Because this is the only thing which we have short time. We have already wasted so much of time, isn't it? Sometimes I see kids, like maybe teenagers and all. And even if I want to stop, still I say to them, look what we really are. They think, what a crazy man, They're having the fun of their life. But this is the thing, you're losing that, and they are full of energy. At that moment, if someone wants to be out, it will be so easy, so quick. So much of blissful years ahead, isn't it? So much of blissful years ahead. Let's say someone gets free at the age of 16 and dies at 70, more than 50 years. This is the thing. Why to waste time, Whatever time left, why to keep, I'll tell you, in Hinduism, there is a very stupid thing. People think at the end of your life, if you take the name of the God, you will get moksha, liberated. What a stupid idea, isn't it? Why do you want to end till you die? And then at the end, you will not taking God's name. You might be maybe unconscious, or maybe you will take name of your son. Why don't do it now and enjoy that bliss? This is the creation of those lazy people who don't want to take the God's name right now. They only want to take it when you can't take God's name at the end. You can only take if you're taking it all the time, then only the God's name will come at the end also. You cannot change. Gandhiji, he was shot point blank, and last 3 words he said only Ram, Ram, Ram. You know what this means? Ram was always inside. As soon as the shot was fired, this came out. This is the beauty. The person who is always immersed in the name of God. Whatever people say, people can criticize anyone. They can criticize Rama, Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, anyone. They criticize Gandhiji also. But see the beauty of that person. So finish your story now rather than waiting for the last moment of your breath. Mostly in old age, we get diseases and so many issues, and the mind is not like we don't have that much of energy to be attentive about things. You need a lot of energy. So do it whenever, as soon as you realize that I have to finish the story, finish it now. If you are postponing it, then you are the biggest fool. Then there are so many ignorant fools around us, and they are not doing, they are okay, they are happy. They are not asking you to be free, but you know it. In spite of knowing something, if you are not getting free, then whose mistake is this? One thing I can understand, someone doesn't know even this thing, that's okay. But one who knows, he should just try to finish off quickly. Sorry, I didn't realize there is already... Okay. Thank you, everyone. Actually, there's no watch in front of me. Yeah. pray to the Lord within, so that becomes our permanent abode eternally and never moving out of it, even for a fraction of a second. Whatever comes, happens. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.